Oh, started. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I haven't posted on this channel in a while, but today me and Mom are going to do kind of like a podcast. Give me just 1 minute. We're live.
Live? I
Live.
didn't say anything about live.
We're not on live, really, but I'm recording.
You need to search out what kind of berries these are. And
There's actually a few berries I know that look like this.
And tell me if they're edible or not.
Well, it's definitely not that one berry.
Are you showing them?
No, sorry.
So, what kind of berries are these, and are they edible?
They look good. They don't really smell like anything.
Take a Google pic and find out.
Oh, ladybug on me.
I'm highly allergic.
I know you're highly allergic. Probably not good. Another one on me. Must be like their little secret spot. Okay, so what was our conversation on?
So Pierce and I have been discussing the current season of Halloween, and we really are trying to be led by God and do things right and not open doors. We've overcame a lot of generational curses and been delivered from a lot of evil spirits and evil traditions. And so we're just trying to decipher and determine and have discussions about the properness of carving jack-o'-lanterns and celebrating Halloween. And so I was just educating Pierce a little bit on the origins of carving jack-o'-lanterns and where that actually came from, like the history behind it. And so we were talking about how in ancient times, going back many, many years, that our ancestors thought that the switching over of seasons from like fall or from summer to fall thinned the veil between the spirit realm and the current reality or the earthly realm. So during that time, they would carve pumpkins or gourds and put lights in them
To scare away like the demons?
Yeah, because when the veil was thin, they felt like
they needed something to like scare away the demons.
The dead could cross over into the current reality. And so because that veil was thin, they would carve gourds and pumpkins with mean and evil faces and put lights in them to deter the dead from crossing over into their homes or their earthly spaces. And so as a result of that, this has been celebrated and passed down from generation to generation to generation, obviously. And it's something that we did growing up and we enjoyed growing up. And then me and Pierce even put, once we kind of learned that that was not a cool thing to do, we started carving crosses into our pumpkins instead of demonic faces. But this year I've been even convicted of doing that even. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying pumpkins, but I think the act of actually...
So then that's my point where like, if our cross is what we use as a substitute for the pumpkins, then why is it not okay to just carve the pumpkin with a cross on it?
So like I was saying, Pierce and I have been carving a cross into our pumpkins the last couple of Halloweens, and he's been dressing up as Jesus. So we've basically been substituting something good for what we thought was bad. And although I think that's still better than actually carving mean faces into the pumpkins and celebrating this scary demonic holiday, it still raises some concerns because you are carving something. So you are still acting.
So you're still using like the same material.
You're still
but
using.
You're just doing it in a different
yes. Form. And just like the enemy substitutes everything that God does good, he has a substitute for it. We don't want to have a substitute for something that the enemy does. We want to completely ignore what the enemy does. And if we're going to do anything to celebrate a demonic holiday, we don't want to offer substitutions to our Lord. We want to completely ignore this holiday and pray.
So would it be okay, instead of putting a pumpkin cross, could we just put an actual cross up?
Well, yes. And some people will even say that crosses aren't cool. There's like a whole discussion about that. We won't go into all that on this particular discussion because we're already in deep. But we definitely, and we have decided after much discussion and prayer, that instead of doing substitutes for a demonic holiday, that we should and would prefer to just pray during that day, because this is a day where covens of witches, where warlocks join together and come together, fast and pray for Satan. And so as Christians, instead of substituting ugly faces for crosses carved in pumpkins, we should spend the day fasting and praying against these demonic prayers and this satanic holiday that's being held. So anyhow, that's the discussion me and Pierce have had after some homeschool of equivalent expressions today on our walk with Jericho, as you can see. And now we're going to go back and figure out what kind of berries these are, if they're edible, what their name is, and if it's something we could use to survive on in the woods. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more material, I'm sure. Tell him bye, bud.
Bye. Do you want me to?